What's up, YouTube? Today I want to give you guys my top Lymow One Plus tips and tricks. Now it is a One Plus, but 90% of them are gonna apply to the One as well. Some of the tips that I'm gonna give here are probably things that you've seen before, and some might be things that you've never seen before. But this is my Lymow One Plus. I've been using this now for some time, and I have made some modifications. As you guys can see, the first one is the styrofoam, which I have placed on top of it because we've been experiencing some really hot weather here in Virginia. Many days are 90 plus weathers. We've had like multiple 95 to 102 degree weather days this whole week. Today is actually the coolest day of the week. I'm actually trimming my Francis. That's why I decided to make a quick stop and show you guys these tricks. And a lot of the things that I'm going to mention in these videos are also things that I recorded months ago, but I just didn't have the time to really upload them. So it's going to be a mixture.
Okay, first off, I apologize if the videos doesn't seem to be in order. Once again, I recorded most of these months ago, but I have to show you this before I actually start with the whole tips and tricks things. So the Lymow One Plus, I'm not really sure about the one, but the Lymow One Plus comes with its bearing exposed, as you guys can see in the left picture. What I highly recommend is for you to have a bearing protections. So for me personally, I have a 3D printer, so I 3D printed some bearing seals that was designed by somebody on printables.com, and I printed it in 95 TPU, 95 grade TPU, because I wanted something that was heat resistant. So that's what I used to protect my bearings. Now if you don't have a 3D printer, you can still buy some bearing protection seals on Amazon. As you guys can see, I actually did buy some myself, but I ended up not using them because I just preferred the 3D printer versions that I used. And once you have printed or purchased them, it should look something like this. As you guys can see, I have my 3D printed ones to protect the seals. And then you put bearing grease in there. So there's a specific type of grease or lubricant that is made for bearings. So you apply it to it, and then you put it and you put your blades back on. Now I particularly haven't had any issues with my bearings, but there's a saying, prevention is better than cure. It is better to be proactive about it than the thing gets damaged and you're trying to find a way to fix it. Once again, the Lymow is IP6X rated, but I'm not going to rely on that too much. I'm going to take my own preventative measures, and this is highly recommended.
The first one that I'm going to talk to you guys about is a garage or something like a shade, right? Let me show you guys where I actually put my Lymow One Plus. This is where my Lymow actually lays, well, rests and charges. I bought this thing off Home Depot for like $30 or $40, and this part right here did not come with it. I already had some metals, so I used that as a stand and I put it in the ground. And now what that does is whenever it's raining, it does deflect all those water. That way my Lymow is protected. I was one of the first people, if not the first, to actually put this idea out. I put it on the Facebook page, and a bunch of people went and bought it. The second tip I want to show you is in regards to the side discharge. So one thing you will know is that I still have my own side discharge. We all know by now there's a high tendency for grass to get stuck in this area, and by removing the flap, it does reduce the amount of grass that gets stuck. But still, because of this bar right here and this bar, the grass still gets stuck. Now here's the thing, I still want this flap, that way the grass is just not going everywhere. However, I need to get rid of these bars right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the screwdriver to remove the screws right here. Now with this one, the only way to remove this is to remove this entire thing, but I still want this over here. So what I'm gonna have to do is cut this part right here. That way it gets a good flow without getting stuck, but at the same time this right here is still there to deflect some of those grass instead of going all the way into my my flower beds, which is in the front. For the back I don't really care, but for the front I don't like a bunch of grass in my flower beds. So I decided to cut this side too instead of completely remove it, even though it can be removed. The reason why I cut it instead of removing it completely is because I realized this part right here actually creates a guard for the blades, so it raises up when you remove this right here. Now this right here is actually lower or more flush with the blades, which means that the blades has a higher chance of hitting rocks. And with my blades, I've already had an incident of them hitting a rock, which means now I have to go sharpen them, and I want to prevent as much as possible the times it hits the rocks, because I noticed that these things right here are actually raised to kind of protect or guard the blades. So that's why I cut this. This right here was actually this right here was for this bottom part, and this right here was this part right here. So actually I just I just cut it away like that. So this is how it was before. You can see the raised part right here is protecting the blades, right? So I just cut it off while keeping this and this right here to sort of just be the guard. And then for this bottom part I also cut it off, but what I did was I cut it off and put the screws back on. I mean, put this flat back on so that it can deflect the grass, but at the same time I didn't tighten the screws all the way in so that it has enough so it's loose enough where it can actually be blown to the side. All right, so check this out. Using the controller. So this would be an easy way to do a manual mowing or mapping. I'm going to zone. I'm just gonna use this as an example. I already have a zone created, so I'm just gonna have another one created right now and show you guys that you really don't have to use the controller. I mean the phone itself. You can just place it on something like this. And now ideally you want something with bigger wheels, that way it can move easier, but this is all I have. So what we're gonna do is click on zone, and we're gonna create a zone, and now we're gonna push it, and assuming you have, like, you know, a big acre, it might just be easier to do this instead of driving around. Once again, it would be better if you have actual bigger wheels, but as you guys can see, it is creating the zone just by pushing this thing, and just like that, zone is completed. You see that? All it took was me pushing this thing. Obviously you gotta have something like this, but to make it easier, for sure you want something with bigger wheels, and that will make pushing this easier. But this just goes to show you that it is absolutely possible, and it's much easier to push it on a big lawn rather than trying to remote control it. If you don't have something like this, or if you don't have anything, then the alternative would be using the controller, which would be also easier than using your phone. But if you don't have your phone, if you don't have a controller, then obviously you can still use your phone. The third tip I want to give you guys in regards to mapping. So a lot of people have been mapping wrong. When you're mapping right, the very first thing you want to do is drive your lawnmower off the charger and be in a clear area. Just wait a few moments until the RTK numbers drop down to 0.01 or 001 or 0.01 or something like that. You want to wait until that number drops. If it doesn't drop, just keep driving around until it drops. A lot of people are ignoring those numbers and they are mapping before that numbers drop all the way down. When you wait for that numbers to drop all the way down, you have less chances of your mower going into no boundary zones or going into places that you don't want it to. If you don't wait, then yes, you might map and it might be okay for a few weeks or a month, but the next thing you know, one day it seems like your map is off. Well, that's because you didn't wait for that GPS signal and the RTK to just acquire a fixed position that is just more accurate. Another thing with mapping is when you are mapping your edges, you want to get close to the edges, but you don't want to be too close. So for example, by this fence area, see where my foot is right here? This is actually how close I got to this bar right here. Now, most people will want to get as close as possible to right here, but the problem is when you have it right here, when you have it right here and you have your thing as precise, it's gonna hit this, and once it hits this, it doesn't just slightly go around because of the way the tracks goes, because of the way the tracks are. When it hits this, it's gonna overswing and then go back. So that overswing will cause a missed spots around here. That is why when you map, you don't want to get too close to obstacles. You want to leave a few inches. I'd say at least a minimum of maybe about 10 inches or so when you are mapping your edges. Don't worry, the mower will get as close as possible, and then you can just use your trimmer to trim the rest of the edges. All right, here's another tip, especially right after you're done mapping and you want to mow, or you just want to do your regular mowing. In the app, it gives you the option to do your perimeter first or your main area first. What I've noticed is if you have it do your perimeter first, it's gonna do it, but when it's doing the main areas, it's gonna leave a bit more spots around that perimeter. So what I would encourage you to do is have your mower do the main area first and then do the perimeter. When you have it to do main area first, it's gonna go as close as possible to the edges, and then it's gonna mow around the perimeter, leaving no spots or the very minimal spots. If you have it the other way around, doing the perimeter first, it's gonna do the perimeter, but you have a higher chance of missing some spots when it does the perimeter. Are you having occasional missed spots? If you are, then this tip might apply to you. So the Lymow apps gives us the option to choose optimize or user specified patterns. If you choose user specified patterns, you increase your chances of missing spots. I don't know why, but there are specific areas in front of my yard where when I use users specified patterns, it tends to miss those areas. But when I switch it to optimize, it clears all the area. So if you have a particular area that you feel like it's big enough, and for some reason the mower keeps missing it, switch it to optimize. The optimize will not only is it more likely to get the area, what it does is it does its calculations and it figures out which is the most efficient pattern to use for your area, and it's gonna do it, and therefore you're gonna have less missed spots. The downside is if you like your yard to be in a specific way, then it might not be the way it has it. For example, the back of my yard, I want it to be vertical. I want it to be vertical lines, but its most efficient way, it's a slight diagonal. I don't want that. So I have it the way I want it to be. And if it does miss spots, I use the mower to actually go clear those spots. Here's another tip when it comes to clearing the spots. Let's say you are running the mower, right? And you notice that the mower missed a spot. You can actually pause it and manually take over in the app, drive it, clear the area, and then resume mowing. You don't have to cancel or restart to do manual mowing. So if it's doing its automated mowing, you can stop it, take over manually, do the area, whatever length, height, whatever you want. It's gonna do it, and once you're done, just hit resume and it's gonna continue that area. So that is a great tip. I don't know when that feature was added, but that has been incredibly useful, especially from the front of my yard where I have a specific patterns, but I noticed that when I have a specific patterns, it tends to miss those areas. So I just take over, manually do it, and resume. So here's another tip. For those of you who have a lot of trees, you know, I don't have a lot of trees, but I do have that one over there, and I still need that area to be mowed, right? Now, luckily for me, the trees does throw off the signal a little bit, but it's not that bad. If you're in one of those situations where the trees throw off your signal a lot, well, you need to remember something. The mower uses AI vision, VSLAM, and the RTK signal. Now, when it loses RTK signal or the signal degrades, it can run for about 10 minutes. This means that if you have a specific area that the mower does, if it does it in under 10 minutes, then you don't have to worry. But if the area is done over 10 minutes, then you're gonna lose signal. It's not gonna be able to move itself around and use the AI signal. So what I suggest is, for that specific area, use the app to split that map. Now we have splitting and merging. So use the app to split that map and make that area specifically mow faster. So you want to set your mower to mow that area much faster. That way it can complete that area within 10 minutes. The downside is the grass in that area is not going to look as good as your other areas because you have to do it really fast. But the benefit is that it still does that area, and you don't have to worry about the mower getting stuck somewhere because it doesn't know where it is and things like that. So take advantage of that 10-minute mark. Now, once again, I don't have a lot of trees, I just have that area, so this is in theory how it should work. If it does work for you, let me know.